I will deliver to you Coalition Politics in India Part 1. And it should not be from the beginning because it will be too long. So I will take from 1989 up to 2014 and next session 2014 to 2025, Part 2. So the order of the time is that I will stop my presentation by 2:55 since we all are students. So we have views, we have queries. So Q&A session will start around 30 minutes. It will continue. So let's begin with coalition politics, part 1. As I have told you, my dear friends, it will cover from 1989 up to 2014. Two transformative timeline for the coalition politics. But I must tell you that coalition politics is only possible in a democratic order. It is not possible in any autocratic, totalitarian, or one-party rule system. The contemporary globe is witnessing all such type of governance model, and within democracy, coalition politics is, very suited for parliamentary democracy. In presidential democracy, also there may be coalition, but very less chance. In Sri Lanka, maybe sometime it was, but very rare. In America, you hardly find any coalition politics, although America is a den of presidential form of government. And in America, two political party, Republican and Democratic, and every time they got majority. There is hardly any problem to form their own government because they find their majority. But in parliamentary form of government across the globe, be it Italy, Canada, Australia, India, Britain, you have sometimes lack of majority of one political party or one coalition group which is pre-poll designed. There is a two system of coalition, pre-poll coalition and post-poll coalition. Pre-poll coalition, they are coming out with their aims and objectives, program, etc. Much before the election, they are aligning with like-minded parties and then they go for election. That is called pre-poll coalition. Post-poll coalition is also possible when there is hardly any majority of 2 or 3 declared group of parties. So there is little realignment. Because almost in every parliamentary system, there is a provision in the states that president rule or concerned name in respective country could be implemented. But at the center, there is no provision of president rule. So at the center, you need to form the government through realignment of political parties. So if you will look into in Japan and Italy after World War II, there is hardly any government which has completed its 4-5 years of constitutional tenure. And in Britain, in Australia, in Canada also, we have coalition experiences. Sometimes it is fragile, sometimes it is continue. Take the case of Germany. Former Chancellor Merkel led a very successful coalition for many years. But it is not possible for other leaders to do the same, given the fragile political system. So in the case of India, coalition politics background started after 1967. From we adopted democracy and parliamentary democracy when India came out from the colonial yoke of Britain in 1947 August. After that, 1952 first election took place, but we all know that there was a dominance of the Congress party. And that dominance at the central level continued till March 1977 election. But the state level, there was a churning which started in 1967 election. So in 1967 election, almost 10 states were non-Congress states. That was a maiden time in the electoral history of India. Since we have two houses in parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, unlike America where all 50 states are sending two members in the Senate, either California, which has 8 crore population, they are sending two members, or Washington DC, Washington District of Columbia, its full name, Washington DC. It has little bit population, less than 50 lakh, but it also sends two members. So in America, every state are sending two members, so 50 states, so 100 member in the Senate. But in Indian Rajya Sabha, members number is 250, and number of members are decided by the population of the given state. Take the case of Sikkim, which has a very small population, but only one member in the Rajya Sabha. But Uttar Pradesh has more than 30 members because it has a huge population, bigger population than Germany and France together, 23 crore. So given that situation, what is happening? That if center one party is ruling and in the state another party or coalition parties are ruling, then gradually the ruling party at the center is losing their grip on Rajya Sabha. And when they are losing their grip on the Rajya Sabha, there is a problem to run the government, because we know that Rajya Sabha, although is a secondary house, weaker house than Lok Sabha, but certain legislations are required to be passed by the Rajya Sabha as well with majority. So out of 250 total number, 120 is simple majority. So sometimes suppose 10 states in 1967, opposition party came into power, but there were bigger states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Himachal, Punjab. So they started sending their own members in Rajya Sabha, and gradually Congress party lost their grip over Rajya Sabha, although they continued ensuring their majority in the Lok Sabha, but they had limited or workable strength in the Rajya Sabha. So it seems bizarre, but if you will look into in a very empirical mode, you will have to salute the framers of Indian Constitution, that they have designed the system in a way that Rajya Sabha is working as a checks and balance over Lok Sabha. And finally, preventing any ruler to be autocratic, to be dictator. Because if in both houses, one political party or one political coalition will have absolute majority, then there is a possibility that that coalition or that political party will sell the vote as per their own prerogative. as they will sail the boat of governance as per their own prerogative, then there is a little chance to convert the administration or governance as a authoritarian regime. And it did happen in India. Emergency was imposed in India in June 1975. It remained almost 19 months when in March 1977 fresh election took place, and in that election the party of the in the power was defeated by a new amalgamation of coalition parties that came into being in the name of anti-congressism, and that was called Janata Party, and Haladhar Kisan was their symbol. Karnataka was ruled by Janata Party for many, many years. So you might have aware about that Haladhar Kisan when Ramakrishna Hegde was the chief minister. So given this little background, let me come on the proper presentation. As I had told you, a coalition government or coalition cabinet is a government by political parties that enter into power sharing arrangement of the executive. Coalition government usually occur when no single party has achieved an absolute majority after an election. A party not having majority is common under proportional representation, but not in nations with other kind of electoral system. There are different forms of coalition government, minority coalition and surplus majority coalition governments. Both you will see in my two presentations. A surplus majority coalition government control more than the absolute majority of seats in parliament necessary to have a majority, in Indian case 273 in the Lok Sabha, whereas minority coalition government do not hold the majority of the legislative seats, as Atal Bihari Vajpayee government had only 181 and 182 in 98 and 99 Lok Sabha election, but Atal Bihari Vajpayee led BJP ruled the country as a coalition party group, and that coalition had more than two dozen members within the coalition political party, little bit and bigger middle size. Coalition government, as I have told you, friend, is only and only possible in a democratic system. It is not possible in autocratic or totalitarian regimes like China, Saudi Arabia, North Korea, etc. Democratic countries are also experiencing coalition model, particularly when single party or pre-poll alliances are unable to form government by their own. In such democratic countries, one party or one alliance remains away from the simple majority. Therefore, it became their compulsion to have an alliance, which is popularly known as coalition. Germany, Italy, Britain, Israel, Canada, India, and Australia are major countries which have been ruled by the coalition government in recent decades, particularly after World War II. There are two types of coalition. One is pre-poll and second is post-poll alliance. When dominant and single party remains away from the magic number of the simple majority, then stitching coalition became the necessity. Sometimes ideologies have also been thrown in the dustbin to erase the imprint of dominant political parties. When in 1989, Congress party lost the Lok Sabha election, then Vishwanath Pratap Singh of Janata Dal, despite only 143 seats in the Lok Sabha, became Prime Minister with the outside support of the BJP, which had 85 seats, and left parties, which had combinedly 45 seats together. To erase the political hegemony of the Congress party in the name of anti-congressism, which was coined by, I think, Ram Manohar Lohia, a seasoned socialist political leader in 1960s. But once Congress really became politically weak, then another realignment of political forces did happen after 2014 general election, and the BJP has become the dominant party. So Congress and left parties have stitched alliances to defeat the BJP, despite the prevailing contradiction that left and the Congress are fighting in Kerala, in Tripura, and sometime in Bengal. Now they are entering an alliance in Bengal because both have become very, very weaker. So when you are stronger, your ideology matters. When we are weaker, your ideology not matter. That is the, the reflection from the Indian coalition system. Ideology plays inferior roles in erasing the electoral power of dominant political parties and stabilizing own political rate remained major push factor to stitch coalition politics. Since India has adopted democratic way of governance, therefore, coalition politics remains important to understand Indian political system. Another aspect is very significant. There are provisions of president rule in the center in case in the states in case of no party has its own majority, but there is no such provision in the center. Therefore, coalition government have been formed in the case of lack of majority in the Lok Sabha to a single party or coalition. Otherwise, members who are elected after huge fight will be losing their membership. So alliances are getting, converting into the reality. After first non-Congress government came into center after March 1977 election, when Morarji Desai-led Janata Party formed their own government in Delhi. It collapsed within 2 years and Chaudhry Charan Singh government came into power with the outside support of the Congress party. Within weeks, Charan Singh government collapsed because the Congress party withdrew support from it. Mid-term poll occurred in January 1980 and Indira Gandhi returned in power after 2.5 years with good majority. Coalition was not the order of the day till 1989 due to the adequate majority of the Congress. In December 1984, in the aftermath of the assassination of Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi-led Congress got unprecedented 412 seats in the Lok Sabha, which was highest ever since independence, and till date, that record could not have been broken. Rajiv Gandhi government was engulfed with many serious challenges of corruption and misuse of power. Opposition got united and formed National Front led by BP Singh and defeated Congress. The period of the 1989 marks a significant transformation in Indian politics with the collapse of one-party dominance and the emergence of coalition politics as a new form of governance. The Indian National Congress, which had governed the country almost uninterruptedly since independence, began to lose its grip due to socio-political fragmentation, the rise of regional parties, and the increasing public dissatisfaction. In this altered landscape, coalition governments became not only inevitable but also essential for sustaining parliamentary democracy. The years between 1989 and 2014 saw a series of shifting alliances, power-sharing arrangements, and consensus-driven politics. These coalitions, though often unstable, also reflected the diverse aspirations of India's electorate and heralded a more inclusive form of governance. This presentation explores the phases, dynamics, and implications of coalition politics in India during this stipulated period. 1989 general election, the National Front experience. In 1989, a new political scenario had emerged and it brought a new history for India. It was the first time no party or pre-poll coalition won a clear majority after the Congress under Indira Gandhi's son, Rajiv Gandhi. And Congress won out of 5 to 9, 197 seats. BP Singh, an ex-Congress party leader and finance minister, he staged a coalition called National Front and he managed the outside support of BJP, which had 85 seats, and Communist, which had 47 seats. BP Singh became the Prime Minister in 89, backed by the BJP and the left from outside. His government fell in 1990 after the BJP pulled its support when its tallest leader, Lal Krishna Advani, was arrested during the nationwide yatra to build a Ram temple in Ayodhya. Chandrasekhar, a seasoned socialist leader, Janata Dal leader, split the party, which was a part of the National Front, and formed the Samajwadi Janata Party in 1990. He succeeded BP Singh as Prime Minister in November 1990 with outside support from the Congress party. His government too fell several months, almost month later, ending a series of short-lived coalition government. Narasimha Rao period 91-96. In the 90-91 election, the Congress party again emerged as the largest political party, mostly due to the sympathy over the assassination of Rajiv Gandhi during a campaign rally in Tamil Nadu. Congress leader P.V. Narasimha Rao became the prime minister with outside support from the Janata Dal, which won 59 seats, and Congress got around 235 or 7 seats. The Rao government, which completed its terms, initiated many economic and foreign policy reforms that paved the way of high growth in the decades to come. The 1990 election, held in the shadow of Rajiv Gandhi's assassination, brought many changes in the political system. India adopted globalization, and Narasimha Rao led the foundation of modernization of India. While not a coalition in the strict term, Narasimha Rao government depended on conditional external support and issue-based alliances, laying the groundwork for more formal coalitions to follow. The United Front government. Again, my dear, I must tell you that United Front government is an experiment which shows that ideology has very little importance. So in 1996 election, which produced a hung parliament, the BJP emerged as the single largest party and formed a government under Atal Bihari Vajpayee, which lasted only 13 days, unable to garner sufficient electoral support. In response, United Front of 13 regional and left-leaning parties constituted their government, and the coalition was called United Front. It included 13 regional and left-leaning parties supported from outside by the Congress party, which had 140 members. H.D. Devegowda became prime minister, but was replaced within a year by I.K. Gujral owing to Congress withdrawal of support. These governments emphasized secularism and federalism, yet their survival depended more on political arithmetic than ideological cohesion. The frequent change in leadership and policy paralysis led to early election in 1998. The 1998 election brought the new political coalition with the nomenclature of National Democratic Alliance, NDA, led by BJP to power. Atal Bihari Vajpayee became prime minister with a broader and more formal coalition framework. This period marked the maturation of coalition politics. Key features of NDA government: inclusivity and common minimum forum, CMP. The NDA functioned as a well-negotiated CMP, ensuring that contentious issues like Ram Temple were set aside to maintain unity. Pokhran 2 nuclear test 1998, May 1998. The Vajpayee government conducted nuclear test, asserting India's strategic autonomy. Kargil War 99. The Vajpayee government handling of the Kargil War with Pakistan was widely appreciated and strengthened its public image. Economic reforms and infrastructure. Policies like Golden Quadrilateral Highway Project and disinvestment of PSUs were pushed forward. However, the first NDA government, 98-99, fell due to the withdrawal of support by the AIADMK after the 99 elections. The NDA returned with a more comfortable majority and ruled till April 2004. Despite ideological differences among allies, Atal Bihari Vajpayee leadership was marked by consensus building and coalition management skill, making this the most stable non-Congress coalition until then. The UPA era under Manmohan Singh, 2004 to 2014, coalition and challenges. In a surprise result, the United Progressive Alliance, UPA, led by the Congress, defeated the NDA despite the later India signing campaign. Dr. Manmohan Singh became Prime Minister leading a diverse coalition that included the DMK, NCP, RJD, LJP, and others and outside support from the left party. UPA won 2004 to 2009 reform with restraint. The National Advisory Council, headed by Sonia Gandhi, introduced welfare-oriented policies like the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, MNREGA, Right to Information Act, RTI, and the Forest Rights Act. The left front support acted as a check on market liberalization. The Indo-US nuclear deal caused the left to withdraw support. The UPA survived a confidence vote through controversial political bargaining and alleged cash for votes scandal. Despite these uplevels, UPA 1 completed its terms and was returned to power in 2009 with greater number. From confidence to crisis, with more seats in hand, UPA 2 began with optimism. However, this phase saw a series of corruption scandals: 2G spectrum scam, Commonwealth Games scam, coal allocation scam. These allegations tarnished the government's image and led to widespread anti-corruption movements led by Anna Hazare and supported by larger elements of the civil society. While landmark legislation like the Food Security Act, the Land Acquisition Act 2013 were passed, governance appeared compromised by coalition compulsions, lack of cohesion, and policy drift. The government was criticized for being led by technocrats with limited political authority, and the rise of policy paralysis became a catchphrase. Structural features and impacts of coalition politics 1989 and 2014. Rise of regional parties. Friends, coalition politics empowered regional parties like the DMK, AIADMK, TMC, SP, BSP, and BJP, giving them a disproportionate influence in national policy making. Federalism gained strength, but sometimes at the cost of coherent national policy. But federalism became little bit powerful because regional parties who were instrumental to allege that Congress party is getting unstable to them in the state level using or misusing Article 356 and their sustainable allegation against the Congress compelled Indira Gandhi, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in 1983 to constitute Justice Ranjit Singh Sarkaria Commission. Its report came in 1988 and it, expanded and explained the kind of situation when 356 could be rarely used. But after Bombay, SR Bombay case, when Bombay government was dismissed on the basis of Article 356, Bombay went to High Court, then Supreme Court, and finally court gave the decision that decision on majority of the government must be in the Vidhan Sabha, not in the Raj Bhavan, and the governors were prohibited to implement Article 356 on flimsy grounds. So, Sarkaria Commission recommendation and Bombay case judgment are the transformative steps in towards a very coherent federalism, and both have strengthened the very roots of federalism. And in another way, the regional parties which were alleging frequently since independence that dominant Congress party at the center is not allowing them to govern properly. But now, all of this sudden, due to the compulsion of coalition politics, they came on the seat of power. They became the driver of the government. So that became a very, very important improvement. Decline of ideology and rise of pragmatism. Ideological rigidity gave way to tactical alliances. Parties shifted alliances for electoral gain. rather than shared visions. Left supporting Congress during UPA 1 after opposing it for decades. Even, my dear friend, that BJP and left, they were in the coalition governments after 1967 in many states. That point of time, BJP was known as Jana Sangha. BJP became BJP in 1980. So Jana Sangha, the predecessor of the BJP, and the left parties were shared power in 1967, just after 1967 election, because their common enemy was Congress. When Congress became weaker, then left started fighting against the BJP along with the Congress. So ideology became irrelevant. And political opportunism or lust for power became the prime motive for the political parties to stitch alliances or leave alliances. So, strengthening of democratic federalism is another characteristic of the coalition politics. The coalition era deepened democracy by incorporating diverse voices and regions into central governance. The Northeast, South India, and many other groups found greater representation. Coalition often led to policy paralysis as decision-making required consensus among multiple stakeholders with conflicting interests. The 2G and coal scams reflected the drawbacks of unchecked ministerial autonomy, particularly when different coalition groups had different ministry and they were, not allowing the dominating party within the coalition in terms of number to intervene in their departmental issues. Therefore, these corruptions have started coming for the public glare in a larger number. Institutional innovation, the idea of common minimum forum, consultative body like National Advisory Council, NAC, and coordination committees became tools of managing coalition governance. 2014 general election marked a temporary pause in coalition politics. The BJP under Narendra Modi secured a majority on its own, 280 seats in the Lok Sabha, the first time since 1984. 30 years after 1984, any political party had secured its own majority. The public disenchantment with coalition instability and corruption, along with Modi's presidential style campaign, played a pivotal role. This issue we will discuss in second presentation. Though the BJP still led the NDA, it no longer needed coalition partners for survival. Yes, after 2024 election, this situation has come. But again, BJP is in a comfortable position because BJP has 140 seats in Lok Sabha, just 32 BJP lacks for the simple majority, but in the Rajya Sabha out of 250 and BJP need 125 for simple majority. So BJP and their NDA constituent, NDA coalition right now has 129 members in the Rajya Sabha. So they have a comfortable situation in the Rajya Sabha. Between 1989 and 2014, India's experiment with coalition politics underscored the vibrancy and complexity of its democracy. While coalition government often appeared unstable, they also fostered inclusivity and compelled political actors to negotiate, compromise, and collaborate. They enhanced regional voices, redefined center-state relations, and brought governance closer to the doorstep of the common man. Yet, the era was also marked by inconsistency, bureaucratic red tapeism, and diluted accountability. particularly in the later years of 89 and 24 stipulated coalition time. The shift in 2014 did not mark the end of coalition, but rather a recalibration of political equations. As Indian politics continues to evolve, the coalition era 1989 to 2014 remains a crucial phase in understanding the challenges and achievements of India's democratic journey. Friends, basically, uh, this era, 1989 up to 2014, is very, very important era. Because first non-Congress government came into power in 1977 only. Although it was a practical coalition, because many groups who were within the Congress opposing Indira Gandhi was the member of that group, like Congress O, then different streams of Socialist Party and some other people. But the nomenclature was Janata Party, and they had one flag, that is Haldar Kisan. So, although practically 1977 Janata Party was a coalition government, but technically it was one party. Soon the reality came out because they started fighting against each other. Different groups were forcing the leadership to maintain their own identity. And that particular situation compelled them to rebel against each other, and finally Morali Desai government was collapsed. And Charan Singh government came into being, splitting Janata Party, but that government remained only for 21 days, could not see the day in the parliament because Congress withdrew the support, and midterm election occurred in January 1980, and Indira Gandhi came into power. Indira Gandhi led Congress came into power with a heavy majority of 352 out of 531. So, what are the important takeaways from this period? This period marked the first official coalition government at the center in India. There is a difference, my dear friend. At the state level, coalition government were formed in 1967 only. More than 10 states, including Karnataka, were ruled by the coalition, and left and right both were inside government. Because their common enemy was the Congress. That was an era of anti-Congressism. That idea was coined by socialist people, particularly Ram Manohar Lohia, who was a towering leader of socialism at that point of time. So the first and last aims and objectives of non-Congress party during those stipulated times were to defeat the Congress or form the government against the Congress at any cost. So although they could not prove their own majority, Congress still came as number one, but little sort of majority at the state level. So all non-Congress or anti-Congress parties came together, they staged an alliance and formed their government. But at the central level, first non-Congress coalition government was formed by BP Singh in 1989. And then in 1996, as I have told you, that Atal Bihari Vajpayee became the Prime Minister, but only for 13 days. Then he was compelled to resign because of lack of adequate majority. Then Karnataka Chief Minister H.D. Devagowda became Prime Minister with the outside support of the Congress and like-minded parties. So it was this kind of coalition was a arrangement where you have a chariot, but horses were pulling you in a different direction. So within 1 year, Devagowda government collapsed and Inder Kumar Gujral came in. His government also collapsed within 9 months, and then Atal Bihari Vajpayee came into power in 1998. That government continued for 13 months, and due to AIDMK withdrawal, the government collapsed. And then fresh election took place where Atal Bihari Vajpayee led National Democratic Alliance secured a better majority, and that government continued till April 2004, almost 5 years. So Atal Bihari Vajpayee, first time in the electoral history of India, gave a very stable coalition governance. Although it was an amalgam of many political parties, but BJP was on the driver's seat with 181 first time and 182 second time. I mean 98 and 99. So they remained successful to keep Congress away from the power. But in 2004, Congress got 145, BJP got 141, and Congress stitched an alliance under the umbrella of United Progressive Alliance UPA, and that government returned back into power in 2009 also, and it continued till 2014. 2014 is again a big turning point because Narendra Modi led BJP secured its own majority after 30 years. In 1984, Rajiv Gandhi got 412, unprecedented in India's electoral history. After independence, Jawaharlal Nehru did not got such kind of massive mandate. But Rajiv Gandhi got 412 out of 530 seats. So we all know that in 89, due to different issues, Rajiv Gandhi government lost. But again, Congress got 197 seats. Remember, and almost 40% of vote. But then Congress started losing its grip in terms of vote also, in terms of seat also. So 1991 election, Congress got 235 seats, basically because of the assassination of Rajiv Gandhi sympathy wave. And then in 1996, Congress further slided 140 seat. 1998 further slided, and 99 Congress came on 114 seat. Congress got jump in 2014 with 145 and 2009 with 206 seat. But in 2014, Congress declined a historical slide with only 44 seat. Only 44 seat. Never in the history of after India's independence, Congress got such a limited seat. So, what are the takeaways from this stipulated coalition time? Positive thing. Two thing positive, two thing negative. Two thing positive is federalism has been strengthened. As I have told you, that regional parties, I mean, AIDMK, DMK, all sets, Samajwadi Party and Mayawati in Uttar Pradesh, BJD in Orissa, they were alleging that National Conference in Jammu and Kashmir, they were alleging that Congress party is destabilizing them, misusing Article 356. And then situation changes vertically, and all those parties who were abusing that Congress remain instrumental to destabilize them, came into the helm of power, and they become the custodian of central power because of the coalition politics. So federalism getting strengthened, more share under Article 280 of the Indian Constitution, which provides center-state collaboration in terms of financial issues, division of revenue between center and state, that started happening in a very practical way, in a very reasonable way, that was long due. Second, prevention of Article 356 misuse. Since independence till Bombay case 1994 Supreme Court judgment, almost more than 100 times Article 356 have been misused. And that was a slot on democratic process. A big blot on democratic process. Finally, Bombay Supreme Court judgment has prevented its further misuse. Many guidelines were laid down under which only precedent rule could be imposed. So that is a very positive thing. And now two negative things. Before I stop for Q&A, two negative things is that you can recall Dr. Ambedkar famous Constitutional Assembly lecture when Dr. Ambedkar stated that whenever center remained powerful, alien attackers could not attack on India, and whenever central authority became weaker, submissive, then alien attackers started attacking India. So, in principle, Dr. Ambedkar was talking about a strong center. But in coalition politics, coalition partners are more concerned to save their own skin from the corruption charges and little bit more money transfer towards their states concerned. They are not much concerned about the foreign policy, defense policy, economic policy, etc., etc. So when you are running the country, you need to shed adequate attention towards economic policy, foreign policy, defense policy. So regional parties are very less enthusiastic about this. So that arena also, lacks. Second one is corruption. You can't say corruption is not possible in any form of government. Kautilya says in his Artha Shastra that a fish is swimming into the water. Fish is doing two things. One, fish is drinking water. Otherwise, fish is eating something. You can't differentiate it. So likewise, those party who are in power is corrupt or non-corrupt, that differentiation is very, 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 very delicate. So, in coalition politics, corruption is getting safeguarded because the party or the person who are in the helm, who are the prime minister or on the driving seat of other important ministry are not willing to lose the power. Therefore, they are succumbing. They are succumbing under the coalition partners' pressure to safeguard them from the corruption charges. And here, the democratic ideals are getting compromised. So friends, you have both positive and negative aspects of the coalition governance, but you have no option, as I have told you, that in parliamentary democracy, many times coalition is a necessity of the time. So you have to stitch the coalition to run the country, to run the governance. But the question is that people of India is the ultimate custodian of the democracy. So people of India, they must think about how to govern the country. If sometime situation is leading us towards the coalition politics, then constituents of the coalition must follow Raj Dharma. This Raj Dharma has nothing to do with religion, but it is a moral code of conduct, which since ancient time, Indian tradition teaches us that a Raja must be taking care of their praja. As Kautilya says, Ragya Sukhe, Pragya Sukhe, Ragya Sukhe. Happiness of the people is the happiness of the king. In one place, Kautilya says, a king must nurture their subject, it means people, as a newborn baby is being nurtured by their parents. So with this philosophy, if our ruling element will behave, then it will be good for democracy, it will good for society, it will good for country. I hope that growing education in our society I mean, propelling the power of media is bringing these things towards accountability, and that is a good move for our democratic